Welcome back, everyone. This is the show where we spotlight LEGO MOCs from across the Bionicle community to inspire you. And today we're going to be picking up where we left off in the last Bionicle Inspiration Series episode. This is part 2 of the Zodiac Collab. So let's dive in and check out all the truly awesome MOCs that recreate the different zodiac signs. The first build that we have today is by the amazing Woomy World, and this is Virgo Dragon. Man, wing designs like this are exceptional. Repeating heaps of these different wing pieces, the exact same ones that appeared on various different Chima Ultra Build sets, much like Eris here, but also they came on a bunch of different system Chima sets as well. They actually appeared in a whole variety of different colors. Such a good piece. So yeah, I've seen a few different builders do this exact same wing design, but all the different variations I've seen have always looked exceptional. But yet repeating them like this so close together, it's so angelic and it's so majestic. I do also love the addition of some of these gold feathers behind these wings, using swords in different shapes and sizes. It looks so lovely. And hey, all those different gold highlights, not just on the wings, everywhere on this MOC. It's beautiful. It really does make this MOC pop. Now check out the amazing head design here. The brilliant shining green on these eyes, and the choice to also include a chrome gold Lord of the Rings ring behind it. That way it looks like it's shining and sparkling. That's genius. We also have a croissant as an eyebrow over the eye. And one of my favorite little details here, an astromech droid leg, like R2-D2's leg, that's being used here to shape the nose. So clever. Yeah, the part usage here is off the charts. I mean, Wormy World's always really good at using pieces in clever ways. And actually, hey, on that, the belly design here, using a lavender dots bracelet, so clever. You know, since this piece is made out of that almost kind of, I guess, rubbery plastic, you're able to really bend and shape it to fit the belly and the neck. The curvature of it, I think it just looks magnificent. Yeah, Wormy, you're so freaking clever. The amount of MOCs you build that just audibly make me say wow whenever I first see them is more than any other builder out there. This is insanely good. Aiden Builds is up next, and they've brought to life Scorpio. Look at the different claw pieces that they've used around the mouth here. This big old toothy maw looks brilliant. We also have an eye design here that appears to use some of these magenta cherry pieces. Here's a little substructure from, I believe, a Friends set that uses one of these berry pieces. Now, I've seen a few MOCs that use this piece for eyes, and every time people use it, it looks wonderful. The two berries on one end, the smaller connection down below, it allows you to place these pieces into all sorts of different like cracks and crevices. And then the berries up top, using that for two separate eyes that are a little bit close to each other. Clever. But my favorite detail on this MOC has to be all of these sick black Technic panel pieces along the back. That looks so accurate to an actual scorpion, but also it just looks so visually pleasing seeing them kind of bend and flow like that. One little subtle detail that I love is this glow-in-the-dark claw piece on the stinger on the scorpion's tail. The choice to make that a glow-in-the-dark color instead of white. Smart. To me, it makes it look like it's coated in poison. The subtle difference in color there goes a long way and very much suits this creature. Nice work, Aiden. Now, Braylon Turner brings to life Libra. So Libra is often represented as scales. But wouldn't that just be a really boring MOC if it was just a set of scales? So I'm glad they added a creature that's resting on top of these scales. And with this creature, the neck in particular, is a rather peculiar piece that's being used. The neck is using this dice piece here that came on this wave of Ninjago sets. So the sets were kind of like a board game, somewhat like D&D, but also nothing like D&D. Anyway, you'd have the ninjas walk along the set that you were building and you'd roll the dice to play this game. Now, I've heard some AFOLs refer to this LEGO piece as one of the worst LEGO pieces because it's almost impossible to use outside of its original context. But I always love it when AFOLs say that because they're wrong. You can use pieces in all sorts of creative ways, like this. Integrating it into the neck design, I think it looks wonderful. We've also got some teal brick separators being used as some kind of like eyebrow or unique headpiece that's resting on the top of this MOC. Two pieces that I would regard as being a little more difficult to use, but they're being used very well. This MOC is great. Alex MOCs gives us a MOC called Capricorn. Now check out this unbelievable tail design, using LEGO system leaf pieces to look like scales on a mermaid tail. That's just extraordinary. I especially love how the bottom part here is sand green, and then the top is dark green. Giving the underside a different shade of green, that's a brilliant way to not make things seem too repetitive. And I guess it adds a sense of realism to this mermaid goat creature. You know what I mean? You'd probably see something like that if this was real. Little variance in color, it kind of makes sense. Oh, and then all these other vine pieces up top here looking a bit like seaweed, and then the fish hanging out inside them. That's awesome. Including fish here, I think it continues the idea and really sells the fact that this MOC is meant to be swimming underwater. Although the shipwreck underneath it and all the coral below That's also a pretty good indicator too. I love this base. The dark orange and dark red leaves poking out behind the boat, that's one of my favorite additions. It really frames this boat nicely and adds little subtle hints of extra color. And that's a good thing, I love how that looks. But back to Capricorn, this goat head and all this light bluish gray fur around the kind of mane on the neck, that's lovely stuff. Alex really knows how to layer in pieces to make them look ultra realistic. He's such a good builder. Old mate Ezreal has built Abyssal Pisces. Now, I like this a lot. The smooth S-shape curve on this body is very well crafted. I imagine it took some inspiration from this MOC by Jafer called Dagon the Great Leviathan. You know, the use of all these different curve slopes. It's got a very similar curvature that Ezreal has managed to achieve. But I like that Ezreal didn't just like straight up copy this MOC. He took inspiration from it and he changed things up a little bit and made it his own. The shape of the body itself, it is thinner. The sides, they're a little bit more compact and robust. The gaps between each section, they're barely visible. This rocks. Such a like seamless and well-crafted curve like this, it's hard to do, but Ezreal, he did it well. Now these flowing white tentacles coming out of the face, they're awesome, kind of reminds me of Gyarados from Pokemon. The gold highlights, the lovely areas of green on the stand below. This MOC rocks. We've had some really good bases in this collab. That's good to see. And then finally, Daniel Brickson gives us Arius the Owl, which is a representation of Aquarius. Another really good base here that this MOC is sitting on. I love this little vase that's been built with all the water spilling out of it. Very, very clever. You know, the way that Daniel uses these arch pieces here to give some really lovely ornate handles to this vase. Marvelous. And then the tree growing out of the back there, autumn leaves just, oh, they always look so lovely. You know, at first I thought that this tree was growing out of the owl, and I thought that was a pretty clever and unique idea. Although, taking a second look, I realized that is not the case. That would have been a little different, a little cool, but hey, either way, I like it. And then this owl. These incredible fluffy eyebrows, the lovely feathers on the wings, which I at first thought were pretty similar to the Hogwarts icon set that comes with the rather large owl. At first I thought this was the exact same wing design, but no, Daniel has changed it up a little bit. And this variation makes for a great wing design, very different to the one we saw at the start of the episode. But that doesn't mean it's not cool. Yeah, I think this is some of Daniel's best work. Really well done. And with that, we finished covering the Zodiac collab. I hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at all of these awesome MOCs. Be sure to check the links in the description below and see more from the builders that I spoke about today. Give them a follow, give them a like, leave a comment on their stuff, do whatever you can. And while you're there in the description below, there is also the submission email. It's on your screen right now as well. If you've got a collab that you and some of your friends are working on, or you've just got a couple MOCs that you want to see on the Bionicle Inspiration series, submit them to the email that's on your screen, and I'll do my best to feature it in an upcoming episode. Are there any rules about submitting? Does the MOC have to reach certain criteria? Not really, man. Submit whatever you got. Send me photos, send me a link, some information about the MOC, the name of the MOC, your name, or none of that. Well, I mean, you're going to need to send me images at least, but hey, put whatever you can in that email, and I'll do my best to feature it when I can. But that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Happy building, and bye for now.